Okay, so job at Deer Park. And my manager, Cassie, for the most part, she was all right. I mean, I think she, I think she, a lot of times, like, she would give me crafts and stuff. And a couple times, when I didn't have money for gas, they did help me there. Mindy actually gave me a gift card when Steve died so I could go down and visit my children. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I actually hugged her. But I don't know. I kind of feel bad because part of me really liked Cassie, and then the other part I saw of her, like, she did some weird, like, head game stuff. But I was just like, okay, well, she has a lot of problems at home, so I'll just ignore. I just started ignoring that and just do my job. But it was just like delegation of work was kind of messed up. And in the morning, like, we come in, I have to sign on the computer, and like they'd stand around for like an hour and just like you hear all the town gossip and everything, and like I really didn't care about that. And then we'd go down into the basement where the housekeepers have their little morning meeting, and like, so I don't know, we're sitting around and they're talking about stuff that needs to be done and stuff that didn't get done, or problems, whatever, gossiping about people, and it always got like, it always was like I was just waiting, and I'm like, okay, she's talking, and it's like I'm just waiting it to be turned on me, and it started to be like a regular thing, like Luann, no, Luann. It was always like that. It was always like Luann, blah 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 blah, Luann, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh God. So I started avoiding going down to the meeting in the morning because it was basically just sitting there for like an hour or two, just talking and gossiping. And I was like, well, I got shit to do, so I didn't want to do that. So, and I didn't want to be like singled out, like always singled out and put on the spot, which was what it felt like. So I started just going, like, I'd clock in, and I'd go directly just to the laundry room, and I wouldn't even bother going down there. And then, like, she started noticing it, and she's like, you have to come down there, in the morning. And I was like, okay, whatever. In the meetings, but there's so much that happened. I don't even know, like, how to do it in segments. So there was a thing with the vacuum cleaners, like me with fucking vacuum cleaners. I don't know what is the deal with me with vacuum cleaners in my life. It's very weird. So I don't know, maybe they know that gross vacuum cleaners gross me out and it bothered me, so they're like, oh, let's use that. I don't know, but there was a thing where like everybody was using the vacuum cleaners in the rooms. Every owner had a vacuum cleaner in their room, and they were really gross. Like, nobody was cleaning them, and everybody was using them. They wouldn't even like, and they can't even take the time to like wrap the cord nice, so they would just like throw it in there as like all gross. Nobody's cleaning them. Like, nobody's cleaned the filter in like a freaking year. So I was just like, oh, I was looking for extra stuff to do. So I was always doing extra, just because that's how I am. If I see something that needs to be freaking done, I would do it. I started cleaning the windows. I guess they would thought I was weird about that, but like all the windows were disgusting. The patio windows, I was cleaning everybody's patios. Like, there's spider webs out there, like, debris. And people want to sit on the patios. Who wants to spend like $300 on a room and then come out and sit on a disgusting patio? That's how I look at it. Who wants to take a shower and spend $300 for a room and the shower has mold in the runners? And so I had suggested, I was like, you guys really need to like invest in a steam cleaner, because a steam cleaner, like, you don't even have to scrub the runners or anything. A steam cleaner will blast that crap right out of there, and if they didn't use it all the time, it's fine. They could use it for the deep cleans, and it would cut down their cleaning time in half, and you wouldn't even have to use a lot of chemicals. But no, that's not a good suggestion. Luann's making suggestions again. Oh my God, why did she shut up? So Cassie would send me into rooms, and she's like, oh, go like inspect whatever room, right? And like that's her job. But and obviously she wasn't inspecting rooms because literally there was like lampshades that had like dust on it that was there for like years. Like nobody cleans the lampshades, and you just laying there. Like I can imagine being a guest. Okay, you're laying there, or you're an owner, and you're laying there in bed, and you look at the lamp, and the lamp is just like the lampshade is just like totally loaded with friggin' dust, like it hasn't been vacuumed or anything, and like dust on the headboards. And I took pictures. I was like, this is like really weird. So I met this owner, Sherry, but she got really really flipped out when the whole Corona thing went down, and her whole personality changed. But anyways, so I was making fun. I was talking to her in the hallway one time, and she was like, "Oh, there's rust stains in the toilet," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know. I made a suggestion to get this special stuff. It takes it right off, and like without any effort, and it's hard to find, but I know Market Basket sells it, and I forget what it's called, but anyways, it's the only thing that works." And I had made a suggestion for them to get that. Of course, nobody's going to get it. So she actually went out and bought it, and she came up to me in the parking lot. She's like, "Oh, Luann, I got this stuff. It really worked." I was like, "Yeah, well, I try to make that suggestion, but, no." So, yeah, I did. So we would shut down. We'd have a shutdown where everything would have to be done. And so just looking for work. I worked through the whole thing while they sat in the fucking rooms, like having their little relaxation thing in the rooms. But I was like constantly working. I come in and they're all sitting in the rooms, just chit-chatting, relaxing, and I'm like still working. So they had the outdoor lockers for the skiers and families or whatever, and so I was like, oh, I don't think we're supposed to go in there, but we did have the keys. But I was like, I wonder if anybody like checks these, because like who wants to put their gear or their skis or anything like tubes for the pool or anything in there when it's disgusting, like leaves blow in there, debris. So one day I was looking for stuff to do, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll check these. So I started checking them, and that was a big project. That turned into a big project. So I started cleaning them all out and sweeping them and everything. And I'm like, well, this is something this will keep me busy, because every building has like a row of these, like 2 rows on each side. So, and I was constantly sweeping like the deck outside the front, because the front foyer to me, like, I don't know, it's my cleaning problem. When you walk into a building and the front foyer is a mess, what is the impression that's going to give you of the whole business? If the front of the building looks disgusting, you're not going to have a good impression of that business. So I was constantly cleaning the rugs. That's like the first thing I would do when I went to strip the rooms. I would make sure all the hallways were clean, and which was my job. And so I guess that wasn't getting done good enough. I don't know. It was always like whatever I did extra, it was always like used against me. So I did those. I did all of those, and I was like, oh my God, you should have seen the trash in there. And it wasn't like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, do that. It was like, oh, why is she doing that? It was like everything. So the episode with the vacuum cleaners. So I started cleaning the vacuum cleaners. I was bringing them down, washing them out, because they were the kind that you didn't need a bag. But, you do have to clean the freaking filters. Or, hello, it doesn't clean itself. So I go down and I started cleaning all the vacuum cleaners, all right? And rinsing them out. And I guess they thought that was weird because nobody did that. But it needed to be done. So, and then I put them back all nice and clean, all right? And the girls were using them, and they all would use them, and then they would just leave instead of emptying the trash, emptying the vacuum cleaner, they just leave it in there. So the next person coming in, or the next family coming in, they're going to have somebody else's dirt in the vacuum cleaner. It's gross. Like, who wants to use a vacuum cleaner? That's disgusting. You don't want to do that. So I had made a suggestion to put like a little sticker on the vacuum cleaners. Like, I know they're probably not going to do it, but like, please empty this after each use. That wasn't a good suggestion. That was really bad. I got in big trouble for that one. So one day, this is like the mind games that Cassie would play. And she literally did this. And I told the girl, one of the secretaries that I thought, one of the secretaries that worked there, but then she quit. I thought that she was like a really nice, supportive person. And if I felt like somebody was supportive, it probably was wrong, but I would like confide in them about stuff. So I told the secretary, I was like, I was like, well, you seem like you would be like a good HR person because you actually listen and care, you know? So I was telling her about what Cassie did. So she literally one day I was in the laundry room and she knew I was in there alone. Nobody else was there. And she literally she never vacuums the hallways. Like you hardly ever see her doing anything like that, right? So she vacuums the hallway like right in front of the door of the laundry room, all right, on purpose, so I'll hear it. And then she literally takes the freaking vacuum cleaner after this whole thing went down with the vacuum cleaners being not cleaned out and stuff. And she literally sticks it into 127 dirty again. So I was like, oh, she did that on purpose. So I went in and it was there. And it was like, you know, just thrown in there dirty again. I was like, oh, it's like, fuck you, bitch. We're not cleaning out the vacuum cleaners, okay? That's exactly what it was. It was like, oh, we're not going to, just so much stuff. There's so much stuff went on. And it was just like all little like head games. And I knew they were doing it. So, yeah. And then I fell down the waterfall and hurt my leg really bad. They didn't care about that. Whenever you like had something going on health-wise, like, I don't know, they don't, it's a corporation, they don't care. But, oh my God. So many stories. I'll tell you the story about how I get called in about, with the shower curtains being dirty. That was disgusting.